Oh my God, I never thought I'd be saying these words, but Somalia have got a point in the World Cup qualifiers, and you've got to give them a huge round of applause. That was incredible. We've got to come on here and talk about this. Guinea nil, Somalia nil. We'll get to how good it is and how great it is for Somalia in a minute, but what a huge result that is for Algeria. I think that eliminates Guinea from the World Cup first place race. I think it's a two-horse race now between Algeria and Mozambique, and Guinea winning in Baraki now for me is gone. It is wiped out because Guinea have failed to beat Somalia at home, well, home in Abidjan, but still, I think losing to Guinea is not an issue now. That's gone. Got a clean slate now. Huge favour from the Somalis. Wallahi, I had no options. Well, that was a good option, I'm telling you now, because that was immense. The goalkeeper, Mohamed Jama, for Somalia, that is one of the best individual goalkeeping performances you'll ever see. He was up against Girassi, the top scorer in the Champions League this season. He's been scoring against, you know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern, all these teams. He couldn't score against Somalia tonight, and it wasn't a fluke. 12 or 13 world-class saves to deny Girassi. And what about the number 9 for Somalia late on? They could have won it. He was offside, but the flag stayed down when he was through on goal. He couldn't believe his luck. We could have been seeing the first ever Somalia win away from home, perhaps. I tell you what, Somalia, they could have won it. They'll be delighted with the point, but they will be feeling like they could have won that game. That is unbelievable. Guinea are a disgrace. No fluke that they didn't make the AFCON. They are a poor side, and I feel sorry for their supporters because they deserve better. Obviously can't play at home for what's going on back home, but they should be beating Somalia, and even Somalia went into that game probably hoping for a small defeat. You've got to give the Somalis huge credit. I'm having goat curry tonight because that is a huge favour. That puts a 5-point gap between Somalia and Algeria with 5 games to go. Guinea cannot close that gap. Even if they beat us, we'd still be 2 points ahead of them. So absolutely fantastic. And what a result. Is that one of the biggest African shocks of all time? For Somalia to come up against Guinea, to come up against the best African forward right now and fail to score. And Somalia had chances. They weren't just sitting back for 96 minutes. They could have won the game. So extraordinary result. And it puts breathing space now between Algeria, Mozambique and Guinea. So it looks like it's going to be 1 from 2. Guinea are going to be kicking themselves. Listen, you can't draw to Somalia and expect to win this group. You've got to be beating everyone. How Algeria lost to Guinea, I don't know. Of course, Petkovic had just started at the time. It's the only game he lost. But I'm so happy for the Somalis. They've been coming to this moment. And look, the first game, Somalia scored against us. And we're thinking, okay, how? They're a good side. They've scored in some other games as well. They scored against Botswana. I think they scored against Mozambique or Uganda. Zach Hassan's a good player. He had 1 goal, 1 assist in this group already. Why Zach Hassan wasn't on the pitch from the beginning, I don't know. Because he's probably that bit of quality you need up front, and they didn't want to use him. Is it because they're not resting him for the Border League, are they? Ridiculous if they are. But there's something there. This is going to be the result. When Somali football kicks off in years to come, they're going to look at that game today, when we drew to Guinea, and we did Algeria a massive favour. So, listen, across the board, some huge stories from Matchday 5, as ever, as there always would be. Eswatini as well, drawing to Cameroon. And Anna coming up playing in midfield for Cameroon. That Cameroon group is wide open. Libya and Angola could have had a huge chance to get in front. Libya 1-0 up. Angola, Freddie with a free kick, scores equalises. Libya draw to Angola. And Cape Verde taking the march in that group now, beating Mauritius. So that's going to be an interesting group. You've got Cape Verde, Angola, Libya and Cameroon all in the mix in that one. Very interesting, very exciting indeed. Overall, I think it's been some cracking action, you know, and Ramadan's made it even better. It all kicked off when Tunisia scored very early away in Liberia and won that game. And Tunisia, I think, now with a new coach, they'll be delighted to get off to that start. Equatorial Guinea in that group winning 2-0. And Sue's back, scored already. First goal for Equatorial Guinea against Sao Tome and Principe. But Tunisia, I still think, are lucky that they took the 6 points from Equatorial Guinea. So despite the 2-0 win against Sao Tome and Principe, Equatorial Guinea only on 6 points, even though they won 4 games. They should be on 12. And what about Namibia going to Malawi and winning? Maybe they'll be Tunisia's biggest challenger as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But some really good games across the board. Of course, Egypt having a goal and an assist from Mo Salah away to Ethiopia. I say away to Ethiopia. They played the game in Morocco, didn't they? But Egypt looked very strong in that group. Sierra Leone with a fantastic win in that group, beating Guinea-Bissau. Burkina Faso thrashed Djibouti 4-1. Be interesting, I think, in Egypt's group who would get the second spot, because I think Egypt are going to completely blitz the first spot in that one. South Africa's group has come to life. A great game between Zimbabwe and Benin, 2-2 draw. South Africa beating Lesotho 2-0. Nigeria with a new manager, Eric Shell, winning 2-0 against Rwanda. Rwanda were top going into this match day. Finally, 1 win from 5 in this. It's still not great for Nigeria, but if you see the goals Osimhen scored, some cracking finishes. So Nigeria and South Africa will be looking to battle for that one. South Africa go to Benin next. That's a big game. Nigeria should be beating Zimbabwe at home. That's an interesting group as well. Ghana smacked Chad 5-0 and packed Ghanaian Stadium. 5 different goal scorers, a goal and assist for Jordan Ayew. Comoros disappointing to lose at home to Mali, but are Madagascar going to cause Ghana problems? Madagascar are right up there in that group as well. They got to win, an emphatic win against the Central African Republic, 4-1. So listen, there's definitely been some movement in these groups and some really, really exciting games to look forward to. Be interesting to see what happens. I think Ghana have had a good week. Mali, even though Mali beat Comoros 3-0, it's a bad result for Comoros. Mali is still quite some way behind Ghana in that group, so they're going to have some catching up to do as well. Ivory Coast and Gabon in that group, they both won. Ivory Coast, a lot of injuries, but still managed to win away to Burundi. Well, again, it wasn't actually in Burundi. You get the idea. Gabon completely smacked the Seychelles as well. So really interesting match day. We're going to be looking ahead to match day 6 soon, so you can let me know what you think about those games in the comments down below. Congo, only 1-0 against South Sudan. I think they won't care. They'll be happy they got the win. I think South Sudan are probably a little bit better than people take them for. Of course, Congo will be keeping an eye on what Senegal and Sudan do in that one. But I think Congo got a winnable match day 6 game as well. Congo are right in that mix for Sudan and Senegal. And Gambia and Kenya played out a really good 3-3 draw. Benny McCarthy's first game in charge. 3-3 draw, but I don't think either of those sides got enough for the top spot. Maybe the second place, but who knows. But the stories of Somalia, what a win. And let me know your thoughts on them in the comments. And I'll see you next time.